Yo, it's that one internet guy you probably don't know. I am Zero. So I just finished Rush Cyberfunk, and I'm gonna say it's an absolutely fantastic game. It was pretty funny, and it's crazy. It's just a great game in general. If you don't know what Rush Cyberfunk is, it's a spiritual successor to Sega's rollerblading game, Jet Set Radio Future. The most important context you need to understand what the crap I'm talking about, if you don't want to play the game, even though you should, is that the game starts with a guy you're tricked into believing is the main character, Fox. I think that's how it... Never mind. Who loses his head to the elusive but very great DJ Cyber. But the main character is actually a different guy named Felix, who Fox murdered before the start of the game via pushing him into a very unfortunately placed giant fan.
All City King.
See, I was probably one of the only people who was really disappointed that Fox ended up being the bad guy. Actually, that's kind of wrong. Talking to some other people, realized I probably am one of many. But I wrote this script at 12 o'clock. Whatever. You know, I was determined to get that guy's head back on his body, but he apparently had some other plans. This is stupid. However, after I finished the game and just like sat on it for a while, I kind of started to like it. You know, and I guess that's why you should probably finish things before you 100% decide it's bad, which I'm bad at. So where the intended, way of interpreting this character and my stupid brain kind of split into two different ways is that I feel like in all reality he's just supposed to be a narcissistic jerk who killed a guy because he was going to get in the way of him becoming all city, which if you don't know what that means, it's covering the entire city in your graffiti. I'm not really trying to say that other people probably didn't think it that way, but it's probably not what was intended. That's fine, The good thing about most forward media is you can interpret it in a lot of different ways. It means something to you. Then maybe some other people won't get that. Maybe it's not what you're supposed to see, but that's the nice thing about it. It's what makes us human. So, yeah, probably making a bunch of garbage connections, but and the way I read this guy was kind of dependent on some of his dialogue. See, somewhere in the end he says something about how he felt like the other vandals in New Amsterdam would hate him if they knew that his daddy was a cop, which is kind of stupid. But, the human brain is stupid. And I probably a lot of other people can relate with the idea of feeling isolated from other people because just think they might not like something about you. And I could see how it would make somebody like Fox, for all extensive purposes, killing another innocent human being is a pretty terrible and unforgivable thing to do, but I don't know if you realize this or not, but he's a video game character in a universe where people can cut their heads off and glue them back on willy-nilly, and they constantly do this in the name of fashion. So I'm not sure how well that kind of moral dilemma holds up here. A better way of explaining what I think about this guy is that it's kind of similar to the movie Akira.
Leave me alone!
Akira!
which, if you don't know, is a fantastic movie about a motorcycle gang who encounters a mysterious-looking young boy who's actually an old man in the body of a... I don't even know at this point. It's confusing, but the important part is that the main antagonist, Tetsuo Shima, goes on a rant a murderous rampage after getting strange supernatural powers via a lab he was placed in after meeting said old man boy. At the near end of the movie, he turns into a disgusting, misshapen, amorphous blob, which nearly made me throw up in the middle of watching this movie because he lost control of his powers. And I was reminded of this scene by the end of Bomb Rush, mostly because even though there's one major difference between the two of these scenes, and that is that Tetsuo is deformed involuntarily as a result of his actions, while Fox is deformed pretty voluntarily as a result of his own actions, and it's not quite deformed, more so than he just allowed himself to be turned into a giant tube monster robot. Tetsuo and Fox also remind me of each other a lot in terms of their story in conjunction with the main character. With the main character's friend, after years of feeling inadequate, loses his mind, and when finally given an upper hand, starts killing or getting people arrested for his own crimes, then killing someone. And then it's up to that friend to put a stop to all this madness, and in the case of Akira, to complete the steps needed for the guy, Akira, to save everybody. And in the case of Bomb Rush, kill the son of a gun. Kill him. Die, So in the end, I guess, I understand that he's a pretty terrible and unforgivable person. But people like characters who are deranged and terrible people. Sometimes they're evil and funny, like Eric Cartman. And sometimes it's interesting to think about how this regular guy turned into a monster. I wonder if redemption is even possible for this guy. And in the case of Fox, I'd say that it's debatable. Because on one hand, he did a lot of terrible jerk things even before killing the guy, regardless of his emotional state, which I'd say could be redeemed even in a real-world sense. And then there's the killing the guy thing, which realistically is pretty irredeemable, but as I stated previously, the sense of morality is a bit rockier when people kind of just kill each other on purpose so they can be cyberheads, which, is something that happens. To me, what would really lean him more on the irredeemable side, regardless of both of those things, is that he didn't really have any remorse for what he did. I think though that Studio Reptile really wanted to make another Bomb Rush game, which I'm not saying that they will, or even if they should, because even though it would be pretty cool, it's not really necessary or anything. The game kind of completed itself pretty well, I'd say. And they wanted to redeem him. I think there's the excuse that they didn't really have time to calm down and reflect on his actions. Even as he is capable of doing so. So, in the end, he kind of just fell down a hole and presumably died. If you try to use any of this line of thinking to sympathize with or excuse actual murders, please click out of YouTube, step outside, and interact with real, living, breathing people. Please. To conclude this video, which is stupid and shouldn't exist, but it is anyways, I'd like to tell you the meaning of Fox's real name, Tune Voglar, or something like that. I don't know. I'm an American. I'm stupid. Because I myself kind of wanted to know if Studio Reptile put any etymology behind the name of, the one character in this game who has a real name. And Teun means something along the lines of highly praiseworthy to valuable person, which is ironic, and exactly the kind of humor to expect out of this game. This is Zero on the channel called Pilot. I don't even know why I scripted this video, let alone made it. Good night.